Well, Detroit Lions fans, we've waited 7 years and we just got to wait a little bit more. The Detroit Lions playoff berth was pushed back to 1 week because of the upset by the Seattle Seahawks over the Philadelphia Eagles, who have now dropped their third in a row. But today's game was big for a number of reasons. It kept the Seattle Seahawks in playoff contention, and it also kept us within reach of that first seed by creating some separation between us and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, right now, the San Francisco 49ers hold that number one seed, and they're ultimately who we are chasing down, and we are going to need some help from the other teams in the NFL. But the Detroit Lions have an opportunity, and today's game, again, was it went hugely toward that because now we play the Dallas Cowboys. That game is going to be big. But now you have the Philadelphia Eagles, who are slowly kind of dropping further and further and further down. Here's what needs to happen. Okay. So we cannot get the first seed by week 16, which is the week that we'll be going into Wednesday, due to those losses against Green Bay and Chicago in those weeks. Right. But we can get back in the mix and conclude the end of week 17 with 1 week left in the first seed. And right now, as long as it's a possibility, I am going to talk about it. So here's what needs to happen in week 16, because I stayed up to make this video. It was either going to be two things. It was going to be first seed or a playoff clinching situation that have happened for the Detroit Lions. So the games that we are looking for, we need to win against the Minnesota Vikings in week 16. We also need the Baltimore Ravens to beat the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, we would love a Giants win over Philly, and I think that the Miami Dolphins are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys at home. Okay, so let's go and look at week 17 now. Of course, we would need a victory over the Dallas Cowboys. Then we go down here, and where is it at? We need a Washington Commander win. That is going to be something crazy. I don't think that's going to happen, but stranger things have happened. And we also need the Philadelphia Eagles to, where are they at? Even if they win here, it keeps them at bay. All right. So basically, we would need to beat Dallas. What happens if we lose to Dallas? Then we lose that first seed. San Francisco gets back into it. So we would need to beat Dallas. Now, let's say Philadelphia, where are they? They are right here. So let's say the Arizona Cardinals beat them, and it doesn't really matter. So this is where it created some space. So we need, in week 16, the games that really matter, right? We are the rooting schedule heading into week 16 is obviously anything in the NFC North. We want them to lose. We are playing the Minnesota Vikings. We need to win that game. We also are going to be rooting for a Miami win over Dallas, and we're going to be looking for a New York Giant win over the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is the most important right here, is the Baltimore Ravens over the San Francisco 49ers. And of course, week 17, we need to beat the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to need kind of an upset there. And I don't know, but like I said, stranger things have happened. And of course, we are going to, even if the Philadelphia Eagles win right here, it won't matter. So that is how your Detroit Lions can clinch or get in the first seed for the first time all season. Now, we've been as high as the second and as low as the third. And would they win over the Minnesota Vikings? There's so many things that can happen. I know the Detroit Lions were sitting on the edge of their seat. Dan Campbell probably chewing some tobacco, spitting in his cup, watching the game, right? And the rest of the Detroit Lions. And they're like, man, but I know Dan Campbell. I know the Detroit Lions, the way that this team is built, that they wouldn't have it any other way. Here's what we can do, all right? We got it. We missed out on the playoffs. We didn't clinch today. But again, that's not a big deal because I love what we're up against. And here is what it is. Going into Minnesota, with a win over Minnesota, not only do we clinch a playoff berth by clinching the NFC North title for the first time, if we do those things, we are also guaranteed to be no lower than the third seed, right? With the possibility to get the second and an outside chance to get the first. So if those things happen for the next 2 weeks, your Detroit Lions will be in the first seed heading into week 18. And 18 is going to be colossal. So what we'll do is we'll revisit this based on the outcomes of the next 2 weeks, and we'll talk about it again in week 18. But aside from the first seed, the Detroit Lions are well in contention for that second seed, which is probably more the reality. But until we're unable to get that first seed, that's a big deal. I'm going to talk about it. I know some of you guys don't want it. You're scared of like the downtime. But listen, I don't think you understand how important the first seed is. Remember, Sheila said all roads go through Detroit, okay? And she means that literally. If the Detroit Lions get the first seed, they play the lower remaining seeds. They also get a free game to the Super Bowl, whereas the wild card teams, they have to win 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. We would only have to win 2. We play the lower seed every single time, and the NFC title game would be guaranteed to happen at Ford Field. Now, the second seed is not too shabby. I think we are in a legitimate chance to get that second seed with that loss by the Philadelphia Eagles today. And I'm going to tell you what, yes, we need to take care of business. Yes, we could be popping bottles with our first division title coming out of week 16. But that matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, especially even with whatever happens in Miami, that's going to be a big deal. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which one were you rooting for today? I found myself, I was prepared to go either way. It would have been nice to say we had a playoff spot, but I think that I would rather have it this way. A trifecta. We go in there, beat the Minnesota Vikings, get our first ever NFC North title, clinch a playoff berth, and lock up the third seed. You can't get any better than that. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. And good night.